Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the show. That was a little abrupt. I'm not used to the intro just totally going out, but hey there, everyone. As you've probably noticed already, we've got a little bit different setup here. We're trying something different. I finally got internet that is capable of doing this crap. 500 up and down. So if we have any problems, it's not my fault this time. That's kind of a good and a bad thing, because the fact that I have fiber optic is great. The fact that I'm in a rural area and I've got fiber optic means I'm not so rural anymore. So it is a rural company that it put it in, but still it's one of those warning signs. It's about time to figure out where I'm going to be moving in a few years or so.
I mean, I think you're in a good spot out there, man. You got enough ruralness, and now you have connection. At least you can do what you're doing, you know?
Yeah. It's close enough to all the stuff where it's not too bad, and far enough away that I got a little bit of lead time, say something goes down or whatever. Yeah. But pretty soon, in 10 years, that's not going to be the case anymore, I don't think. So we'll see, though. Yeah. Brandon said, and Brandon, welcome to the 22nd century, Dale. I want to still be back in like the 20th centuries and you know what? I better be careful what I wish for, because that could be happening soon anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish for that kind of stuff sometimes. Well, maybe, down the road, maybe when it gets bad enough, you might want to wish for it. But right now, it's probably.
Yeah. With that, tonight we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about tonight, or a lot of interesting stuff to talk about anyway. We're going to talk about some of the world conflict stuff going on. Want to talk a little bit about that tornado and some tornado preparedness. And then a little bit about CMEs and stuff, because we've talked about that a couple times and it's kind of on top of my brain. Before we get into all that, though, I wanted to mention we are over at Rumble. And this show, we're going to be ending just like we're going to start doing now from now on. We're going to be ending this show about halfway through, 20, 30 minutes or so on the YouTube channels, because we want to be able to talk like we want to talk and not have to worry about it. So we're going over to Rumble. I forgot to leave the link in the YouTube description, but if you just go over to Rumble and type in the Survival Preppers, you can find it there. On that, something that was pretty interesting that I wanted to show, because I started my Survival Prepper YouTube or Rumble channel the other day. I've got 27 subscribers. I did a video both on YouTube and Rumble. Now, keep in mind, 25 followers over on Rumble. I did this video on YouTube the other day. And on this video, and this was this morning, I grabbed these two screenshots. 173 views on this, and it was a short little 15-minute live video I did. On Rumble, it's got over 1,000 views, and I've got 25 followers.
Yep.
I mean, in a nutshell, that's why we're doing what we're doing. And it's not necessarily because of us trying to get views. I mean, that matters. Yeah. But it shows everybody what exactly you're getting from YouTube. YouTube doesn't want you hearing about all this other stuff. They want you to see what they want you to see, the vanilla stuff.
Was that on your Survivalist Prepper channel, and then you're on YouTube and Rumble, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you have 25,000 subscribers there, don't you, or something like that?
Yeah, almost 26,000, and I got 173 views, and then 27 followers on Rumble, and I got over 1,000. So it just shows you, if you want, that the real information or that stuff that may make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, regardless whether you agree or not, you're not getting it from YouTube. You're getting what YouTube decides that is deemed to be, safe, I suppose, safe for public consumption.
I guess we should say safe so it makes YouTube happy, right? I wouldn't say it's what they deem to make safe. It's what they deem to go with the narrative. So, and that's the problem, because it's just not us, right? This is happening to all the other prepper channels out there, preparedness channels, any channels like this. They're all getting suppressed. Right now. So what you see in your feed, you're not getting, what you should be, because they're suppressing the type of stuff that you watch.
Yeah. Hey, Denise said in the chat, you guys look purty.
Aw.
Yeah, now that I've got better internet, Brian is not subject to my internet capabilities, and we don't have to use Zoom, so it's a little bit better as well. So those two combined make for it's going to make for a better show. Plus, Brian's got control on his side, so if he's got an article or something he wants to share, he can share it, as well as me on my side. So I'm not just in control of everything anymore. Brian can, if he's got something he's pulling up. Sometimes you do that. We'll be talking about something and you pull something up. Now you can actually show what you're reading rather than just talking about it. One more thing before we get into the actual show today, because I saw this. You posted something on Facebook the other day, and I saw this and I was like, what the hell is that? But this is, it's, you talked about, what did you call it? The perpetual soup, or what did they call it?
Yeah.
Perpetual soup?
Yeah, I guess they've been cooking around for a long time, man. It was, since the Middle Ages they've been doing this. And what's this one here? It's like 45 years.
Yeah, 45-year soup. And basically what they do, I just wanted to play this because this picture right here, I was going to grab a screenshot. Let me see if I can make this full screen. You see that thing around the bowl right there? It looks like a big giant dinosaur turd. That is actually what it is the soup. They can, if they keep it hot enough above 145 degrees, they can keep it going. This one has gone for 45 years. And what that brown crap around the outside is the cast off when they dip into the soup and pull it off. 45 years worth of soup dripping on the outside of this damn thing. And I'm like, would never fly in the United States, I suppose, is my whole point.
I don't know, man. I bet that that soup drippings, that's like some crazy condensed broth or something by now, isn't it?
Yeah. Would you how unsanitary that has to be? I mean, would you take it? Would you take a bite of it? I mean, it's gotta be growing stuff.
Just
and
from the fact that it was 45 years, if I knew I had like good medical care there, then
it is Thailand.
I might give it a shot, because that would be. I mean, how often do you get to take a chunk of a 45-year-old stew dripping?
Yeah, it is Thailand. That's how they get away with it. Over here in the United States, not a chance in hell. You'd be shut down and put out of business. But yeah. I just thought it was interesting, because and
all of our authorities that decide all that kind of stuff are so squared away right now, right?
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting because it's not just them. This is actually a thing. People do this all over the place.
Man. That's pretty cool. It was Michelle Tusa put that up in the Mind for Survival Facebook group. So
did she?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Pretty neat. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. I know it has nothing to do with absolutely anything, but I thought it was pretty cool. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the tornadoes. Let me see if I can pull up a different website, but the tornado that just happened in Mississippi, I'm sure you've heard about that, right? Crazy. Yeah. 25 people died, dozens injured. It's insane. And it's not a place that you think about. Let me press play on this. It's not a place you think about when you are thinking about tornadoes. So it just kind of goes to show you that regardless of where you are, I mean, you don't have to prepare for tornadoes everywhere, but regardless whether you are, regardless what you think is possible, it just stay on your toes, because
they get tornadoes a lot down in the South, and it's just they just got smacked by a big one. It's that roll of the dice thing. It's why we prepare.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, how do you prepare for that? Like, they just had. I guarantee there's probably people there who are very into preparedness, right? It's the South. And they just had all their preparedness blasted away. So now what's your plans, right? How do you start recovering? I don't know. Is it, start with your insurance, or that you have try to have somewhere else to go? That's where that network of friends and all that comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole community just got destroyed, man. Yeah. And those poor people down there.
I kind of wonder, because it's not one of those places you hear about a lot about, it's not like Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, that have the shelters and stuff in place. Maybe they do there. I don't know. I know there was some warning, and prayers to everyone that is out there that's going through that. But I know there was some warning, like beforehand. I mean, even hours before, them saying, hey, there's going to be a pretty serious storm coming through, watch yourself. And then even just a little bit, 10, 15 minutes beforehand, it was a get to cover. because
I
this is
caught something
coming.
today. They said it was at least an F4, I guess.
Yeah.
Hit, and I mean, just bulldoze those houses, you know.
Yeah, it just tore that damn neighborhood up. I don't know how big of an area it wrecked, but yeah, it was bad. But that, it made me think about, just the fact of, being prepared because out here, I think about tornadoes all the time. I don't put a lot of effort into it because it's once in it. I've seen one out here, but it was pretty far away. But we are on the edge, and I don't think of me as being
Dude, they had a tornado this week in Montebello, California. That's Los Angeles County. They had a tornado this week. Obviously wasn't like the one that hit down there, but I think it's 2023. Anything's possible these days.
Yeah. It's just, think about that stuff, even if it never happens. And that's kind of preparedness in general, because all of this stuff that we talk about all the time tends to, it doesn't happen in the time frame that we're thinking it might. And then it gets put off, and we kind of let our guard down with a lot of this stuff. So whatever natural disasters, this just goes to show you it's not all about the nukes and stuff we're going to be talking about today. It's about the other stuff as well. So,
well, I mean, dude, look at, we've talked about a bunch this week. I don't know if you're planning on talking about the stuff in France and Israel, right? You got Israel protests going like crazy because Netanyahu he wants to basically, he's trying to consolidate power, right? And so people are irritated by it. And then France, because, Macron just went off and unilaterally said, hey, we're raising the retirement age. I mean, Paris has been burning up. They've had, instances where the cops that were out there working against the protesters took off their helmets and joined the protesters. Firefighters have joined the protesters. They're having just crazy amounts of people protesting there. U.S. media isn't reporting the French stuff here right now. I haven't seen anything on it really. A little blurb here and there. They're reporting Israel right now.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on in the world where. Yeah, it sucks if that tornado hits you, but it's a really good time to be prepared for that stuff, to be able to get by on your own for, 30 plus days.
Yeah. Another thing the reason I wanted to bring this up is because in a video I did last week, I talked about some tips to kind of stay ahead of the game on preparedness. And they talked about get real life experience or listen to people that have gone through real life things like Selco I talked about, and then help out in a disaster. And this would be, as long as you weren't in it, it would be an ideal situation where you go out and help, because there were a lot of people injured. I mean, I'm sure that there was a lot of people in Mississippi and around there that, went in there just to help out. But this would be one of those situations where you could really get that hands-on knowledge and see exactly how it actually is.
And coming together, as a community down there, right? When you know how to help, who are you helping? Like your house just got obliterated. It might be a family member. I mean, they had 25 plus dead now.
Yeah.
A ton wounded. So you're helping out a family member, taking those first aid classes, CPR classes, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I took my first aid course outside of the Boy Scouts, I think, when I was 16, right? And took a CPR course at 16. That stuff's out there. Go do it if you haven't done it.
Yeah. It's like I said, man, you just never know with all this stuff. And that goes for everything in preparedness. So next here, I wanted to talk a little bit. I've got this video from Arthur Bradley that I wanted to bring up. I talked about this a little bit the other day too, but my daughter sent me a picture and she's in Michigan right now. Well, you can't, that's not, that's not very good, but she's in Michigan right now. And I saw the other day that the northern lights were going to be visible all the way down to Colorado. Oh, wow. And we didn't actually see them down here because I think we're a little bit too far south in Colorado. But she sent me this picture from where she's at. So she's seeing them up there. It got me thinking about, because I don't think it was any sort of EMPs or CME, anything like that caused this. I think it was, I don't know exactly what it was that caused it so much. But you had the sun a few weeks ago that, spit all that stuff out. Luckily, it was facing the opposite way of the earth. And then we've talked about it a couple times, and it's one of those things that it has me feeling like when you look back and go, man, we were just talking about that a couple times. So one of those uneasy things, it's like, oh man, I hope I'm not setting myself up here. But it got me to looking into Arthur Bradley. And I think people in the chat, most of you probably know who Arthur Bradley is. I know Brian does. It'd be cool to actually get him on the show sometime. He's sort of kind of dry, I suppose, when it comes to some of this stuff, because
that's the way to get him on the show, dude. Just, hey, would you like to bring your dryness to our show?
No.
It needs to be a little dry.
I don't mean dry like I mean it's the stuff that he talks about is so technical.
Yeah, it's
and
hard.
He's so knowledgeable about it that it can get to where your eyes start to gloss over. But if you want really good information about EMPs and you want that information that is correct about why it does what it does and how it does all these things, he is the guy to go watch some of his videos. He doesn't have a million videos, but you don't need to watch a million of them because he will explain it. He talks about, I've got this one here that I want to play just a little clip of where he's talking about protecting a little inverter.
Yeah.
But it's you know, you hear a lot of chatter on the internet basically about all this stuff. EMP will do this, EMP will do that. You know, it's going to tear down everything. He is the guy, if you want true information, and a guy, I believe he worked for NASA, didn't he? NASA?
I'm not sure.
Somewhere like that. But he is the guy, if you want to...
Place where all the dry people hang out and work.
You're not going to let that go. I didn't mean he's like, you know, just Bueller. I just mean... There's certain subjects that are fun and entertaining and engaging, and then there are certain subjects that are really heady, and you got to pay attention. And EMPs and electrical crap, that's one of them. So, anyway, I want to play this little part right here of him talking about how to protect surge protectors, and he's also got a little generator behind him, which he talks about EMP cloth, which I'll go over in a second. But let's go ahead and play this. Let me put this on full screen.
It's much more usable for many things that we need power for. So how do you protect an inverter? Well, first thing to know is you do need to protect inverters. They're certainly susceptible to the radiated energy that could come from an EMP. So the easiest way to do that is to simply put it into one of these EMP bags, is what I call them on my website, disasterpreparer.com. And there are different sizes, but you find a size that would fit your inverter, and you simply put your inverter inside the bag. And these bags, now some people will ask, well, why don't the bags have zip locks on them? Certainly you can buy bags with zip locks. What I found though is I tested a number that had zip locks, and what I found is they didn't really do a very good job of keeping out the RF energy. It tended to find its way in through that seam. So while it's very convenient to have Ziploc tops, it just didn't really work that well. And so I don't sell that kind. I sell the type that I found to protect the very best. So anyway, you put your item in there, and then you take the top and you simply fold it over twice, all right? So you just roll it over twice like that, and then you take some tape, and any kind of tape is fine, just regular Scotch tape or any kind of tape you like. You can then tape up that seam so that you have a nice clean seam. If you do that, the item will be protected to a level of about 50 dB, which is about 99.7% of the energy will be blocked from getting in.
So I just wanted to play that because I think a lot of people, myself included, think that you got to have certain type of, seal it all up, and then you got to have a certain type of tape and make sure that everything is good to go on there. And then, you don't want to open it up because then you got to seal it up again and use that tape. And he was talking about how just fold it twice and use regular tape. You can take that thing out whenever you want. You can reuse that bag and all that stuff. So it's a little bit more simple than a lot of us kind of think it is. He was also talking about his EMP cloth. Let me see if I can. He's got his website, Disaster Preparer, and they sell. He's got a whole bunch of different EMP proof or EMP style stuff. That let me see if I can. This is the one. It's hard to figure out which tab is what, but this is the EMP bags that he's got right here. He's got, let me see if I can find the, anyway, I'm not going to go through the whole thing of trying to figure that out, but it's EMP cloth basically, and it sells up to like 50. He sells up to like 50 feet or whatever. So you could cover an entire generator. You could cover, that little battery bank that he's got up there. It looks like it's not a Jackery, but it's kind of that same style of battery bank. But you can do a lot of things. And he's also got the fair rights and a little thing that he's working on that you can, like, he's got one that you can protect a tractor. And I thought about putting one on mine. That way, you know, if something does go down, CME or something like that, at least the tractor will still work. Probably be a pretty popular guy if I was the only dude in the neighborhood with a working tractor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was pretty interesting. I didn't think he was too dry. I stayed awake during it all. But yeah, I think that's important stuff to look at, especially now, right? If you think about it, like everybody's talking, what are they all ratcheting it up and everybody's shaking their sabers, you know, like the whole thing in, what does it say? So if you tape it better, that makes it 100%.
Possibly. That's Matt. What's up, Matt?
Well, I think he said it was 99 point something.
Yeah, up to 50 dB. So
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly fine. But if you tape it better, it probably would be. Yeah, makes sense. You would think so.
Yeah.
But
no, I think,
see, if I would have played the rest of that video, you'd have been like, turn that off, man.
I probably would have found it really interesting. It would have helped my preparedness.
Yeah.
Dr. Bradley is pretty squared away. But
you say that now.
I think right now with, you know, because they're ratcheting up everything with China, right? China and Russia. Oh, they're getting together. They're going to have this. They'll be able to reuse each other's nukes, kind of thing. They can't attack us, right? I mean, they could nuke us, right? But then we would nuke them, kind of stuff. They can't. It's not like a Red Dawn scenario, I don't think, where they can try to come over across some oceans and try to attack the United States, right? And I mean, they know that the Second Amendment's been doing pretty well in the Supreme Court too. So, what are you left with, right? Well, I think you look at something like an EMP kind of thing, right? Or like you said, a coronal mass ejection. But I mean, they just drifted their balloon across the country. If nothing else, right, that is proof of concept. They can launch these low-tech things and they get through. So I think that's a bigger risk, you know, with stuff. I mean, like you said, the CME too, you just showed those pictures of the Northern Lights. That's not coming because, you know, Pluto farted. No, it's coming because the sun's farting, you know, plasma energy at us. So, yeah. With the whole China thing, and we're going to go to Romo pretty soon, but we'll get into that. But I think there's, in my personal opinion anyway, there's a little bit that to be said about the fact that, you know, China has got a little dirt or basically owns a lot of our government. So, you know, is it really surprising that they're able to fly a balloon across the country? And what else are they going to be able to do and all that crap? Because I mean, talk about a shadow government. Wouldn't that be crazy if China was the shadow government? I don't know how true that is. Oh, come on, man. You know, our people are part of it.
Yeah. So, all right, I think I do want to get into that. So I think what we are going to do is end the stream over here on YouTube. I know everybody is watching our Survival Preppers channel, but there's quite a few people already over on Rumble. Yeah. Head over to Rumble, jump into that chat too, because we're going to be talking about China. We're going to be talking about there's China brokering a deal with Iran and Saudi Arabia and what that means. And then the BRIC stuff and Russia, you know, trying to get everybody into BRICS, basically go away from the United States, China as well. And then as Brandon talked about, he texted me the other day and he was talking about the new Cold War happening because of Belarus, Russia moving stuff into Belarus. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Hey, real quick before we go. Hey, Dave and Michelle giving you a shout out there.
But I think everyone, that's it for everyone at YouTube anyway. That's it for today. Make sure if you want to continue listening, it's going to be fun over there. Head over to our Rumble channel and talk to us over there. Jump in the chat. But take care and prepare. We'll talk to you we'll talk to y'all later or over there.
Bye, y'all.
Viewer discretion